In our last video, we have completed almost all the topics, that is market and marketing, definition, objectives, importance, scope of marketing, core marketing concept, then there is product selling, market, holistic marketing concept, evaluation of concept marketing, recent development in marketing, and the last marketing function is over, and last approaches of study of marketing and recent development in marketing. The recent development in marketing we will cover in our coming videos, and today we will start approaches of study of marketing. It is first one, the approaches to study of marketing, that is commodity or product approach, functional approach, institutional approach, managerial or decision making approach, system approach, legal approach, economic approach, and last one, modern or scientific approach. So in today's video we will cover only the three topics. First one, it is commodity or product approach, then functional approach, and then institutional. Rest we will cover in our next video. So let's start. First one, it is commodity or product approach. Under this approach, a particular product is selected and then the detailed study is made regarding the various source of its supply, quantity of the product, its characteristics, its uses, limits of the market for the product, the interviewing of middlemen engaged in the work of distribution, the various means of transport which actually carries the goods to the consumer, and after the sales service. Everything which we studied from the last product means everything which it focused on the from the production to the supplier, the consumer satisfaction, or after sales service. See here, first they had the various sources, that is source of supply, where the raw material will be brought, what will be the quality of the product, what kind of quality, its characteristics, then use and limits, what will be the use and what will be the limitation of the product. When we get a particular product with a particular price, what will be the use of the product. If we buy a fan or if we buy an AC, what the limits of the fan, what are the limits of the fan. When we bring a fan, there is a limit that certain only only just to bring or has to make us feel cool. But when it comes to AC, that we can reduce the temperature to maintain the temperature. We have where the AC's electricity consuming power is more when it compared to fan. So this kind of limits what kind of a consumer, whether middle class people will approach for the fan or AC. This kind of a study, where the market study about the product approach. Then where the middleman channel of distribution, how many middle of men engage in the work of distribution. Then what is the transport cost from carrying from place of production to the consumer, what is the transport and goods, these kind of things, and sales service. For example, if we study the market for wheat or sugar, then we shall have to study in detail the sources of supply of these commodities. When we study about the wheat, from where it is supplied, mostly from the northern state, that is Punjab, Haryana, these kind of things. Then the kind, whether it is which kind, that quality, they are classified on the basis of grades and types. Then different uses, for what all they are used. Wheat for making chapatis, then bread, everything. They are buyers. Who are the buyers? Whole country, the most of the people buy, we all buy. When we come to the wheat, we buy. They are buyers. Then actual consumers, then suppliers, the farmers are, and the suppliers who the farmers, the various means of transportation, from where the goods are transported from the production level, from the northern state, or even in the south states also, they are brought by means of transport, used to carry them in actual places for production, and then how these products actually reach in the hands of user. by these efforts of retailers. We don't go to Punjab and buy wheats. We get from our retailer shops. That is the method. Then how these products are actually reached in the hands of users by the efforts of the retailers. From the production when the farmer sell, then middleman, then wholesaler, then retailer, then we people, consumer. Then commodity may be classified under various groups such as agriculture, minerals and industrial product. Marketing problems have to be studied separately in respect to each product, for they differ widely in their character. When the product are different, if they are agriculture product, their characteristics, their features, they are different. How the consumer what the consumer requirement is different for particular. When we see for agriculture, that is different. For mineral, that is something different. The demand for the goods are different. When we come to the industrial products, the demand and supply is also different. We have the marketer has to study separately in respect to each product of these, and they differ widely in their characteristics. The commodity approach has its own merits and demerit also. What is the merit of commodity approach? The merit of this approach is that it gives full sight into the inherent problem underlying the marketing of each particular product. But the greater disadvantages of these products, it takes long time to study the market process. It takes the long merit. It is completely study about the product only, how the product go, what are the problem face, inherent problems that are came. But disadvantages is only that it takes long time to study the marketing process. Next one, it is institutional approach of marketing. Under this approach, the function of various institutions engaged in the task of marketing is studied scientifically. Various institutions are involved, that may be financial institution also. There are the days of mass production and consumption is made by the people spread over throughout the world. Actual marketing is done by specialized institution. It is done by specialized institutional approach. So here, their help is vital in marketing process. They are wholesalers, retailer, advertisement agencies. Not only the product, these people are also important. This approach they tell wholesaler, retailers, advertisement agencies, transport agency, market research information, what the product market, what the people want, what the consumer want, and how the product have been demanded. This kind of research, marketing research institution, commercial bank, insurance company, warehousing, etc. This kind of institution, this kind of institution approach means these where the wholesaler, retailer, marketing agencies, transport agencies, these research institutions, these work institutional also have the approach in marketing. All this institution helps in one or other way to make the goods to the reach in the actual users. There can be institution that is measurable, realistic, specific, achievable, time specific, this kind of a thing. Here one more, see here. The selection of these institutions depend upon the nature of product. No doubt what we studied in the product approach or commodity approach, that is the nature. First it is product is there, then for example for an industrial product direct selling is preferable through wholesaler and retailer. For consumer goods like soap, cloth, etc., the help of wholesaler retailer is essential for distribution of work. Direct selling is preferable for wholesaler retailer for industrial product, but for the goods, clothes, the helps for wholesaler retailer is essential for distribution of work. The main thing about the consumer goods is that they are purchased by the consumer generally in small quantity and not in the bulk, where the direct sale by the producer to the seller is not economic. It entails the higher cost and involves more difficulty. But here consumer goods, when we go and buy a soap, we maximum buy to 10 soap, 1 to 10. different type. But the wholesaler, retailer, how much they purchase, direct selling is done because they can purchase in bulk and huge amount. The great merit of institution and approach is to provide complete knowledge of each institution engaged in particular market. Whenever the institution is involved, that it provides the knowledge about the institution, whether it is transport institution, wholesaler, retailer, these kind of institution involved, they help us to engage in the marketing environment, as well as help in getting more profitability. If there is a support, when insurance company we insurance our product or insurance our machineries or building, whenever there is a risk, that certain amount of reimbursement is done by the insurance company. Warehousing, where we store the goods, this kind of institution approach, they have great merit in institutional approach. Third one, it is functional. Under this function, we study the marketing functions right from the production stage to of goods and services up to the reaching of hands of consumer. These marketing operations include purchase, classification, standardization, grading, transport, storage, advertisement, financing, risk bearing, everything, etc. Then what we studied in the product and institution, here the function, how the function of marketing work, they have been asked. That is universal function of marketing, that is buying, selling, transporting, storing, grading, standardizing, financing activity, risk taking, market information. The credit for designing this approach goes to A.W. Schwab, who enumerated the functions of middlemen as follows: sharing the risk, transporting the goods, financing the operation, selling, communication of ideas about the goods, and assembling and assorting and reshaping. This what he told about sharing of risk, transporting of goods, financing operation. What we studied here, this you study this table directly. Just note down this table as a functional approach of marketing. This will be enough just here. Then later on, LDH Weird introduced some notable change in the concept by pointing out that the above functions are not always performed by the middleman, but also partly performed by the producer and partly by the consumer. Everybody are involved. Not only here the middleman is functions of middleman, but these are partly performed by the consumer also, as well as producer also. Then marketing function is a major specialized activity performed in market. Functional approach therefore split down the field of marketing into new functions which are to be performed by doing marketing work. Through such study of function, change in the structure of marketing caused by shifting, combining or eliminating the activity from one agency to another could be made easily understandable as the means of classifying the various phenomena of marketing under number of categories. Same. This approach is definitely an improvement over former ones, that is conservation of time, avoidance of much repetition. Time is no much time is required less time. Then avoidance of repeat the things which are done by the middleman or the producer, they are eliminated in this phenomenon. Under this approach is also not free from the defect. On due, whenever there is approach, there is defect. When it comes to every marketing approach, there is a defect, one or two disadvantages. When there is merit, there is demerit also. Undue emphasis on functions of marketing does not permit one to know how these functions are applied to specific business operation. No specific, do not permit how these function, exactly how these are applied, they are not giving a particular view. Secondly, the market functions are so numerous that it is difficult to eliminate unnecessary from necessary function. What are the unnecessary? Even sometimes unnecessary also things are required to carry necessary function. Finally, this approach is also repetitive to some extent. Next, it is managerial or decision making. We will complete it in our next video. Then system approach, then legal approach, economic, and then scientific. With this, we will end our today's video. You just write down the points of different approaches and basic point of today's how these points: commodity, product, functional product, and write the little explanation, basic point of explanation about what are the functional approach, product, that means from the production to supply, consumer, and after sales services. Then functional, then institutional. Function means all the activities, that is buying, selling, transport, warehousing, storing, yeah, financing, risk bearing, everything. Functional approach. Then institution, that various institution are involved in that, that is banking, finance, insurance, warehousing, this kind of everything. Write in the detail about the basic points to make you understand in your notes. With this, we will end our today's video. Thank you.